We'll remind you to please identify yourselves and the agency that you are with our personalities at the podium. Remember, too, the lights are pretty bright up here, so it would help if you identified each time. That would be a great help. So, questions from the floor? Who wants it first for Coach Collins? We'll go front row here. Coach, right in front of you to your left.
Okay.
Coach, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Just what you can say about, I know going into Georgia Tech, you had to change the culture and obviously change what it looks like on the field. Where are things at, in your opinion, as you step into this season?
Yeah, it's an exciting time. We've got 14 new guys that came in January. The way the culture is set up, the way how we approach our daily life in our organization, in our building, is completely set. They've done a great job bringing the guys in. Last year we had a bunch of true freshmen play, starting quarterback. Geoff Sims was a true freshman. Jameer Gibbs started for us at right tackle. Jordan Williams started for us as a true freshman. I think it was re-ranked as the 8th ranked recruiting class that played for us last year. Now this will be our second recruiting class full that will be reporting in 2 weeks, preseason camp. Just excited to get to work with them. And, Coach Corral, our head strength coach, does a tremendous job with our guys and how we work and how we're developed. And just excited to be back on the grass with them.
Coach, we're going to slide the microphone to your left. It'll be about the 7th row in the middle. Okay. If he'll please stand. Thanks, sir.
Coach. Kelly Quinlan, Jackets Online. Hey, Geoff. Just curious about NIL and kind of what your approach is and how you're kind of guiding your players through that process.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it, Kelly. Good to see you. And let me first say, this is the first picture in the last 3 days that I'm the tallest one on the picture. So I appreciate the ACC doing that. So I'm not clowned on social media about all my guys being so much taller than me. But anyway, I digress. I think one of the first things is just the mechanism that we have in place to educate our guys, put them in a really good position. We started a 404 Academy. We've had educational sessions in person via Zoom to educate them in every way that they can to market themselves, brand themselves, position themselves in this space to maximize all the opportunities. And I think those mechanisms are very important. The thing that I think is the most important, though, is our commitment as an organization to support our guys, be fully invested in this space, and help them maximize every single opportunity to elevate their brand, to position themselves through content, and living in the great city of Atlanta, all of the opportunities that they have available to them, and them understanding how deeply invested we are in this space for them.
Coach, to your right, about the 4th row, 5th row right in the middle.
Hey, Coach Collins, Chris Heidel from Herbison Radio in Baltimore. You have a kid who transferred from Maryland to you guys, this year. Talk about him coming to you guys and what does he bring to the team? Because his father used to be a Morgan State head coach.
Yeah, so we've got Ace, a linebacker. He'll be up here in just a little bit. 6'4", 235 pounds. The impact that he has made in our culture, in our locker room. We had every single player in the organization vote for the captains for the spring game. The 3 that are here with me today were voted captain. Ace was one of them, who is a transfer from the Big Ten and just has done a tremendous job learning our culture, enhancing our culture, elevating it, and just a tremendous young man. Great player first and foremost, but an even better person, and how he comes to work every single day has been phenomenal. And then we got another transfer from the Big Ten, Kyrie Mcgowan from Northwestern, graduated from Northwestern University, played in 2 Big Ten championship games as a slot receiver, running back, wildcat, quarterback, kick returner, punt return, all those things. And Kyrie has done a masterful job, work ethic, attention to detail, what it takes to take that next step in our program and in our development. So I'm fired up that we have both those guys with us.
Coach, right in front of you to your left.
Coach, looking at this offense and making that change, going through a COVID year obviously affects you trying to change exactly what Georgia Tech looks like. So where are things at as you head into the fall, and how much did the COVID year affect kind of what you were trying to do?
Yeah, so we're excited about where we are. We had 3 true freshmen start for us on offense last year. Jordan Williams at offensive tackle, Jameer Gibbs at running back, Geoff Sims at quarterback, and just the growth and development that they've made in our program since January January is staggering. Dave Patton, our offense coordinator, his office is about 10 yards away from mine, and over the last 7 months, there's not been a day that I've walked past his office and Geoff Sims is not in that room. Watching tape, studying the playbook, learning defenses, learning the rotation of coverages, where the pressure's coming, how to redirect the protections. Those things are huge. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, J.P. Mason, our running backs, both got nominated for the Doak Walker Award. Well-deserving for both of them. And then you also look at Jemias Griffin at running back, who was Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Georgia, returns for us. And then Dante Smith at running back as well does a tremendous job on special teams and as an explosive playmaker whenever he gets the ball in his hands. So I think that combination is really good. And then the offensive line that Brent Key has recruited, has developed, is in a position to help us take that next big step in our program. I'm excited.
Coach, from the podium, what did you learn about yourself in 2020, and what about that education of Geoff Collins is going to thrust you into 21?
Yeah, just fired up about him. There's so many things that you had to be fluid and flexible in COVID and during that last season. But I think the biggest piece too is understanding the attention to detail, our focus pre-snap, post-snap, because I think we were one of the most penalized teams in the conference, had a lot of turnovers, finishing in the red zone. All of those things we've got to take care of to make sure we're taking the next step in the development of our program.
Thank you. To your right side, about 6 rows back.
Cortland Griffin with a three-point conversion. Coach, you talked about Jahmyr. You also have your quarterback, Geoff, here as well.
Yep.
And both of those guys can do so much on the field and affect the defense in so many ways. Can you speak about how dangerous those two guys are and what they can do together and how they can boost this team?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a dynamic duo within our league, within our team. But one of my favorite things about both of them are how selfless they are, how team-focused they are, giving other people the shine, other people the credit. I think, when you have two of your most high-profile players are also two of your hardest workers and also two of your guys that come to work every single day with a tremendous attitude, elevating others around them, and I think it sets up, for something special. And we're all lucky that we get to coach them there in our organization.
Same sight line on your right side there, Coach.
Hey, Coach. Ewan McCreath with Herb FM Sports Radio. Coach, you mentioned the red zone. Last year, 121st in red zone efficiency. What's going to be the key this year to being more productive inside the 20?
Well, I think the biggest thing, too, is the situational awareness piece. Playing with a lot of young guys, some self-inflicted things that ended up happening to us, especially when we got down into the red zone. We play UCF Game 2, top 10 team. We got inside the 10-yard line 3 times in the first 3 drives, come up with 7 points. So those educational pieces, those experiences, understanding how impactful they are. So we've spent a lot of time in the offseason educating our guys, the penalty piece, pre-snap and post-snap, taking care of the football at every level of our offense and even on defense as well, and then finishing in the red zone on offense, staying down there, preserving the right to kick a field goal if needed, but we want to punch it in and get touchdowns, and then defensively slamming the door if people do get down into the red zone. Those are the 3 biggest things that we've talked about as an organization this entire offseason.
Coach, from the podium, chemistry and science is such a delicate balance, making sure you have the right mixture. With the popularity of the transfer portal, how tough is it to keep a balance of chemistry every season within a football program?
Yeah, so one of the biggest pieces is this was the largest influx of transfers that we've taken back in January, and even there's going to be a couple of more that have come in since June and a couple more that will be here first day of school. But just the way the culture is set, the way our organization is built, understanding exactly what we are, everybody on the same mission, having a common goal, understanding exactly how we do things within our organization, from the weight room, from the training room, even in the dining hall, recovery. They understand full well exactly what the expectations are. So now when you bring some guys in from other places, you've got a collective group that are teaching them our culture, teaching them how we do things. And I think we're at a position in the program that we were able to bring guys like that, and they've made a tremendous impact in our program.
Coach, your last question is going to come straight up the aisle. I'm giving description now for our mic holders too. Straight up the aisle, in the middle, right on the edge. So raise your hand high so he can see you, please. Thank you.
Ken Segura, Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Geoff Collins, Georgia Tech football coach. You mentioned the offensive line, and I was curious. You talked about them wanting to take the next step. What does that look like for you in terms of, performance and production, that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So since January, the making sure we're being able to interchange pieces across the front, just tremendous size that we've gained, either developed or through recruiting, and making sure that, a guy like Jordan Williams, who started almost exclusively at right tackle last season, gets some experience on the inside. Same thing with Ryan Johnson, him being able to do a couple of different things. So the position flexibility piece across the front five has been huge, and just having a full breadth and depth of our offense, schematics. We've got Brent Key, who's one of the top offensive line coaches in all of college football, has done a tremendous job recruiting and developing and building a culture within our culture that is really positive. And one of the biggest things that I said for 2.5 years in our organization is, once the big guys in our program are the leaders, setting the culture, setting the tempo, reinforcing all of our values, we've got a chance to be really, really good. And I think we're at that position right now with the trust, the work ethic, the ability to move people and to pass protect at a high level is going to pay off. So really excited about that group.
Coach, thank you. We'll ask that you trade places with Allende,
Absolutely.
and we'll get him up to the podium for a few minutes. Folks, same protocol. Even though you may have introduced yourself as coach, please reintroduce yourself to our student athletes. Walking gingerly to the podium to make sure there are no missteps. And our first question for Allende, please. We've got it to our left, about 7 rows back.
Hey, Ace, Kelly Quinlan, Jackets Online. I was just curious, you've kind of stepped into a huge role at Georgia Tech in a leadership position. Can you kind of talk about the development of yourself at Georgia Tech over the last 6-7 months?
That's my teammates. They have welcomed me with open arms as soon as I came in the door on the first day, and so that's what really helped me to step into a leadership role, is just their support and them allowing me to step into a leadership role. And I just since they allowed me to step into that leadership role, I just try to be the best leader I can for them. So it just all comes down to my teammates and everything. So I'm just so happy I get to play with them, and I just can't wait till we roll it out and we can play, and I can play with them.
To your right, we're going to go about 5 rows back.
Hey, Ace, this is Chris Heidel from Herbison Radio in Baltimore, right here.
Oh.
How you doing? Talk about your father. Your father was a well-known coach at Morgan State. What did he teach you growing up as a young boy, as a player, as a football player?
I think as a young age, I learned early that you have to fall in love with the process in this sport, the football, like the Saturdays and the games and the accolades and everything. That's fun, but that's only a couple times throughout the week, a couple times throughout your career. The process is really what makes great players great, and what separates you. And you just got to fall in love with the film watch and the recovery, the running, the workouts, the stuff that you get frustrated with when you can't do it. You got to fall in love with that type of stuff, and that's what makes you the best player you can be. And I feel like that's what he taught me at a young age.
Right in front of you to your left.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Allende, going from Maryland to Georgia Tech, what made this the right fit for you? What made the most sense to come to Georgia Tech when you had so many different suitors?
The situations matched up. David Curry, who was a great linebacker at Georgia Tech, great leader and everything, he was leaving. And it was a role there that was open and that I decided to step into, and just the situations and just the atmosphere, it just matched. When I talking to Coach Collins, Coach Thacker, talking to the guys, and it was just a match. I just felt like that's where I was meant to be. It just took me there, and I feel like it's one of the best decisions I'd have made in a long time to come here.
Allende, let's stay on the first row, far left first row.
Tyler Everett, Sports Business Journal. Do you feel like being in Atlanta opens up more opportunities with all that's going on in that market?
Yeah.
Given post NIL, what the doors that opens for you?
Yeah, just Atlanta itself is just, even if you weren't a college football player, anything you do in the marketing, Atlanta is a good place for you just to get your name out there. You're gonna walk the streets of Atlanta and you'll see a famous person or a celebrity or somebody that can help you help yourself. And I just feel like with the NIL coming out and everything, I feel like Atlanta is a great place for marketing and just to go around. There's just so many people there and so many different types of people that you can get into a lot of stuff and everything, especially with the NIL and stuff.
Andy, thank you. We will switch places now with Wanye. We'll bring him up for a few minutes. Allende gets my favorite quote of the day: "You have to fall in love with recovery." So well done. A few minutes with Wanye. Who would like the first question for our student athlete, please? We're going to start on the left side, about where we started a moment ago with Wanye. Here we go. Thank you.
Hey, Wanye, Kelly Quinlan, Jackets Online. What's up, man?
What's up, Kelly?
Just curious, kind of heading into this season last year was so difficult for you guys. Kind of just how's your whole mindset different right now, 2 weeks out from camp versus a year ago at this time?
We just look back at how it was last year battling COVID and stuff, and we just look at it now to see how blessed we are and what we have came from, and we are happy to be in the position that we are in and now.
We'll bring it down to the front row here, right in front of you. Get that microphone to him. Or second row, actually. We'll go there first.
Yeah, last year the secondary was banged up most of the year. How is the health of the secondary now? What jump in performance do you expect from the secondary this year?
Yeah, we were battling a lot of injuries last year, and good thing now is everybody's healthy, and what people can look for is a more healthy and a more better secondary. Having everybody back, having Tariq along me healthy again is going to be a big gift for us, and we're going to try to make a lot of plays with everybody being healthy now.
Now we're right in front of you, first row.
Got you.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Wanye, looking at name, image, and likeness, it's something that you have to think about. Student athletes of all different sports all over the country. What thoughts have come to your mind? What's kind of you're essentially a small business. Every player is now. So how do you look at that?
It's a good thing for us. It's a good way to make money off of your name to help your family and all. And honestly, I really do think it's a great thing. But for me, I'm not really paying attention to that right now. To focus on for us and Georgia Tech is we're just trying to win this year. So.
Wanye, your last question here from the podium. As a true freshman in 2018, your numbers were really solid. You didn't have that transition issue from high school to college, and every year your numbers continue to get better. What is it about football that just comes natural to you, at least from what it seems on paper?
You just learn. Every year you just gotta look at what you messed up on that year, so the next year you don't make those mistakes, and growing from that and looking back at that helps me get better every year, and just what I'm saying, just having in your brain to make plays every year, and then you would just go up from there.
Makes perfect sense. We'll have you switch places now with Geoff.
Thank you.
Geoff, you will get the last word not only for the Yellow Jackets, but the last word for the day. And we'll go to our right side, about 5-6 rows back. Geoff, he will raise his hand as the microphone gets there to your right.
How you doing, Geoff? It's Cortland Griffin from 3 Point Conversion. A lot of people watch your tape. I've watched a lot of your tape. And looking at it, I've heard a lot of comparisons to one Lamar Jackson. How do you feel about getting that kind of comparison to a league MVP and a guy that's so electric and a dual threat in the league?
It's definitely something that I look at and just smile at, But at the end of the day, I don't like being compared to anybody because I feel like I'm my own player. But being compared to a player like that is definitely an honor because in my eyes, he's a great player and he's one of the quarterbacks that I look up to. So, yeah, that's an honor to be compared to him.
Geoff, to your left, second row.
Bryce Kuhn with GoJackets.com. Geoff, what are we going to see the biggest jump from year one, year two when it comes to Geoff Sims?
Just a more comfortable feel for me. Just going out there and playing ball, how I've been doing since I was 7, and not thinking as much and just going out there and having fun and doing what I do.
Let's stay right there in the second row. The gentleman right next.
Hey, Geoff, the center plays a big role in getting the offensive started before the snap. What have you seen from your center from improvement from last year to this year?
Yeah, with both Mikey and Will, they're both great workers. They keep their head down, they work. They're in the film room learning a lot, and they just make sure everything runs smoothly, making sure they know the protection, making sure they run the offensive line, and make sure everything's orchestrated.
Geoff, we're going to get a microphone back to same gentleman as we had a moment ago, to your left.
Hey, Geoff, Kelly Quinlan, Jackets Online. Just curious, kind of, what's maybe 2 things that you've worked on the most that you feel like is going to make a difference when it comes to game time this fall?
One of the biggest things that I've worked on this offseason was just getting better mentally and just staying in the film room and learning all I can, because that's one big thing that you will definitely need as a quarterback. And then the second thing would be my accuracy, just working on those mechanics and staying accurate and being consistent.
Geoff, from the podium last year, 5 rushing touchdowns for the season and 53 yards rushed per game. Ground game and air attack obviously are physically different. What is it about preparing for running and throwing that might be mentally different?
When you're preparing for running and throwing, at the end of the day, you're going to have to know that you're going to have to run. So just preparing yourself for that and knowing that there's going to be situations where you got to get out of the pocket and make a play.
We're going to bring it back to the front row right in front of you.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Geoff, for you last season, is your experience as a college football player, you don't have fans out there. The strangest year that we've all had was your first year. So what did you take away from that, and what are you most looking forward to?
It was definitely a lot to learn from last year. There's definitely a lot of things that I watched from last year that helps me improve this year. And just looking back on last year, I'm glad that I got that opportunity just to get my feet wet and get the experience under my belt to come harder for my second year.
To the right side, about 5 rows back.
Hey, Geoff. Ewan McCreath with Herb FM Sports Radio. Geoff, last year, 13 interceptions. How do you mentally kind of discipline yourself not to take those chances and secure the football more?
Yeah, that's something that that's definitely been on my head a lot last year and this year, just because I'm very hard on myself, and that to me is very unacceptable. So just going out there and going in the film and watching like how I made those mistakes last year and what happened on those plays to lead to those, just going in there and fixing that and getting those mental reps.
Other questions for Geoff from the floor? Geoff will go left side, 3rd row.
Bob Holliday, WRL.com. Coach talked about the importance of improving efficiency in the red zone, noting this UCF game where you had 3 trips inside the 10-yard line and I came away with like 7 points.
Yeah.
As the quarterback, what falls to you to make sure that if you don't get the 7, that at least you get the 3?
Really everything falls to me because, I control the offense, I control what goes on. So just from a execution standpoint, we just got to get better at that, and that's something that we've worked on in the spring. We'll have red zone periods in practice where we work on just scoring the ball and making sure that we execute in the red zone and not make as many mistakes.
Anything else for Geoff? Geoff, we appreciate the time. Georgia Tech, good luck this season.
Thank you.
Folks, that's going to close us out for the Coastal Division today. Tomorrow we have the Atlantic. We'll